Hello and welcome to another episode of Supercoach Insider. My name is Ben.
And I'm Chris.
And thank you for joining us for our team-by-team analysis of St Kilda, Chris.
Yeah, getting into the Saints. Guys coming up the... You know what? I'm surprised they didn't perform better last year than they did. And this year I think they have a real chance at making an impact. But they've just got to pull it all together at the same time. So we'll see how they go. I like the Saints this year.
Yeah, so do I. I think they have a lot of depth and a lot of possibilities, so it'll be interesting to see. But before we move on, let's hit them with the socials, Chris. We are SC Insider 100. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter. You can also look up the SC Insider 100 on SoundCloud, Spotify, Twitcher, Google Podcast.
Twitcher's a new one.
Isn't it Twitcher?
It's Twitch and Stitcher, bro.
Oh, well, same.
It's not same.
Twitch, Stitcher, and obviously on the YouTube, Chris, so you can search for us, Supercoach Insider.
You can very well. And I think this one's going to be arguably the shortest podcast that we have. There'll be a bit of premium content. But
draft relevance, I think,
lots of draft relevance
is the key one people are looking for. And you know what? Fuck Twitch and fuck Stitcher for creating two companies that are very similar on the line, Chris.
On the line.
Who does that?
I don't know. People on the line?
Put it out there on the line.
Look, let's get straight into the rookies because there's not much there. They only had two picks they took to the draft. And the first one, they took Matthew Allison at pick 26. He is a key utility, standing at 194 centimetres and 81 kilos. Bit of a project pick. They've picked him up to develop him. They don't know if he's going to play forward or back, but he adds a little bit of depth. And they'll develop him. So I don't think that he'll be anywhere near relevant this season, but he could come into consideration in the future, and it'll be good to see him come through. He may play in these trial games. Look on to the next one. The only other pick was pick number 45, and it's a good one for us. It's one that we all hope will play round one, and it's Tommy Highmore. He is 192 centimetres and 89 kilo mature age recruit from the Sandful.
Oh, he's delicious, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's delicious. So that's exactly what you want to hear. Someone that's obviously had senior experience. He's got an AFL ready body. He comes from South Adelaide. There's been huge raps on the kid. Jack Steele came out in an interview and said that he's been really impressed with Tom Highmore as well. And there is a chance for him to debut Raid 1. So keep an eye out.
I like it.
Look, the best thing about him is he's that intercepting type forward. He was playing at a centre-half back position in the Sandful, but he'll probably move to a third tall situation at St Kilda where he can peel off and intercept, which is going to be really, really good for his skill set.
Hang on, how can you be an intercepting forward? Wouldn't you just mean a marking forward or an intercepting defender?
That's what I said, isn't it? Did I not say intercepting defender?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to work out the schematics because I'm like, hang on, wouldn't you just be a marking forward and an intercepting defender? I don't know how you could intercept as a forward.
So, moving on. He was actually trusted with the kickouts at Sandful level, and he has he kicked at 79% disposal efficiency, so one that can take the kickouts, and that was over 12 games. He also averaged 22 disposals in that time. He also averaged in that time over 10 marks per game. So a guy that they used to get the ball in the hands for the switch. Hugely SC relevant role at 117k defender. Almost a guy that you'd honestly, you could play him on field.
Write that down.
Yeah.
You definitely could. I have him in my side, and I think he is great value, particularly with Geary. Was it breaking a leg or something?
Yeah, Geary's out for a while, which is weird. They named him as co-captain, and he's not playing for at least the first half. No, I think he's out for about 6 to 8.
Well, that's why you need a co-captain, because he's not there for half of it.
And honestly, that's true. But is he even best 22, even if he did come back? I don't know if he is.
No, I think he's starting to be overtaken. He was there for that leadership, and I think he will provide that. I think most of the focus will go on Steele now to lead and rise this club.
I agree. And so let's have a look at that 22, which is one of the reasons why I believe that he can come in. And obviously from the background, I've got him starting in that pocket there. Highmore is off the back with Wilkie and Caulfield in the other back pocket. I think personally he's battling with Webster as that third tall role.
So Highmore, you mean?
Yeah, Highmore.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think he's ahead. Webster has been in and out of the 22 for the past couple of years, can never get his body right. I personally believe he's ahead, but there is a chance that obviously Webster comes in and starts round one, so just keep an eye on that. On the halfback line, I've got Clark, Dougal Howard, and Ben Long. On the wing, Hill, Steele, and Billings. Gresham on the half forward line with Membry and Higgins. So I think Jack Higgins just slots straight into that field, and we'll get some midfield rotations out of half forward. Loney, King, and Butler. And then I've got Marshall, Crouch, and Hanbury in the guts. And on the interchange bench, I've got Carlisle, Jones, Kent, and Ryder. So obviously Ryder will be interchanging with into the forward line and into the ruck. Now Ryder's still coming back from injury, of course, as well.
I think he's pretty good now though. So he he was in full training the other day. So I think he'll be fine. Good. He'll be fine.
And they've got a lot of depth. So this is obviously something that is of concern to any rookie. But obviously they've been trading in guys quite frequently as well. So they've got Webster, Patton, Dunstan, Ross, Battle, McKernan, and Sinclair, all senior players, all guys that have been in that 22 before. And so at any one point in time, they could be rotating through that 22. So
yep, I think it's definitely matchup dependent. For me, I think Seb Ross could easily play where Higgins is there on the forward flank and then rotate into that midfield. Mind you, if there's an injury there, the versatility, it's great, but it's also a curse possibly for Supercoach because they are so flexible.
Yep.
You could find them becoming a little bit more like the Richmonds and Ports where they share the workload a lot more, which is great for the Saints. But as far as Supercoach, there's going to be a lot of complexities. I mean, you look at, so Billings could easily go into that midfield and then push even forward. Instead of even being on that wing, you could put a Gresham or someone else there. You could have, Battle could easily come on that forward.
Hannahs could go outside, or
Hannahs
could get injured in 2 weeks.
Well, Hannahs could go, like always. Hannahs could go on the wing.
On the past 10 years of
data. Not that far back, Chris. Just the last few years. Battle could easily go forward flank depending on the matchups. Again, he could be, play tall and still be quite dynamic. So there's a lot to be made here, and I do agree Webster could be best 22, or there's definitely going to be a little fight on their hands, I think, this year, and no one's safe.
Well, the reason why I've got Highmore ahead is just all the buzz coming at us in Kilda about how awesome he is. So we'll have to wait. I can't wait to see him in action, but he's got all that role is what they will want out of him. They'll want him taking kickouts. Previously, they had Wilkie doing quite a lot of that. They probably want him further up the ground to be able to take those marks and take some pressure off and try and drag those key forwards out of the forward line when they're kicking out. So, we'll see how we go. I think it'd be really interesting. Yeah,
same here. As for time and roles, I think, Crouch has already said that they have a lot of people that can run through that midfield, but I don't think they have too many in and unders besides like Steele.
Steele's the one.
He's the one. So I actually think, even though he comes out and he says the team things, I think Crouch is still going to be that next sort of in and under type to take that workload because they have a lot of other dynamic players. Higgins and Billings and Hanbury. I still think Hannahs will probably play a little bit more outside because he's better that way.
Yep.
So I don't see Crouch getting too much of a dissimilar role, even though they're trying to add strings to their bow to add different elements.
Well, here's the thing. And I suppose we completely move over to the premium chat.
Yes, correct.
How much does Crouch coming in affect Steele?
0.
You don't think at all?
I don't think it affects him at all.
That's a lot of ball. He's like, what's his career average Crouch in terms of disposals? Like, it must be right up there.
Oh, it was definitely up there. His return on average, though, he had a 27.5 Supercoach PB based on every other year. So it's... For me, Steele, it's more based on the midfielders scoring more. We're looking at that influx. It was always suited to shorter format. The dynamic guys that can get quite a bit of ball and not play as much time on ground. I think that suited him to a T. But he did play 84.4% time on ground in 2019, so I kind of just contradicted myself there a little. Look, I don't know. It's a funny one. He could easily maintain it, or he could fall away to 100, and I can't see him going much below 110 though.
No,
surely.
I don't think he's a bad pick. But you're paying what's Steele? Like, I'm sure he's ridiculously expensive. He's 650. He's as expensive as Clary. He's the same price as Clary.
Yep. So,
is he going better? I highly doubt that Jack Steele can average over 120 this season. Now, if he's going lower, it's not going to be much. It might be 115, 110. Yep. But are you wanting to spend 650K on that?
No.
For me, I'd rather not take the risk and pick him up later. I mean, there's plenty of upgradable midfield spots. He could definitely be one of them. He's also only in 15% of teams right now, so he's not going to burn you even if he does pop off. I like the pick. Don't get me wrong. I hate it. I just rather Clary. And that's really where it is.
I like him as a player, but I'm not paying that much for after a breakout year. You know, again, it's one of those things. And I think
with someone coming in,
I don't think Crouch affects him too much. I think, you know, when you look at those other types who have had different roles, I think, you know, Jones, it could impact him. You know, Crouch coming in. I think Sinclair's now he's not best 22 when he was previously. I think it kind of impacts people like Battle and Sinclair and Seb Ross.
Pushes everyone out.
Well, because now
Ross
it's
is
like
the one that really suffers.
Yeah, so it's like,
Ross
how dynamic are you? Because now we've got someone who can actually, you know, and Ross has really dropped off, and he's not even that old, you know, which I'll get into. But I mean, Sebi Ross, if I can find him, this is how far down he is on the averages. I can't even see him.
He's in the midfield there, right next to Jacko Higgins.
Well, he's 28, Seb Ross, so he's not that old. He can definitely, you know, add more strings to his bow, but
there's just better midfielders now.
At
it's
the
as
moment,
simple as that. He's just not as good as the midfielders that they have now.
Yep.
So Seb Ross is completely off he'll come in for injuries or he'll play like a random different, like he was played off halfback flank at times last year.
Yeah, I know. I still feel like he should be best 22, but if he's not, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It would probably make sense. So there you go. So Jack Steele, third in the time trial. He's primed for another strong season. This is what's coming out of the club. He, again, had a best return on average by 27.5. He's 26, so he's kind of hitting that prime spots to, you know, score.
If there was no change to the midfield, he would be a fantastic pick and I would be like all over it. I just am a little bit cautious and I'd rather just wait. And that's not to say it's a bad pick. I'm personally just would rather wait, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair enough. One score under 86, he had 10, 120 or more, which is massive. He had 4 scores of 149 or more. He averaged 128 the last 11 rounds, 140 the last 5 rounds. He went absolutely gangbusters.
Yep. The good thing is they have the last buy. So obviously you want to try and keep or start premiums that have the late buy if it doesn't impact your side, obviously. So you can't have too many of them. But the reason for that is it can carry you through the first 2 buys, and then you'll be, you know, you trade guys in those early buys to cover the guys that you're missing in the late buy. So having those late buys guys start can actually be really beneficial for your buy structure.
Yep. And let's hope Steele can hold his nerve because he has nerves of steel.
No. It needs to be a 1-1.
See what I did there?
That was a 1-1.
No, it's a double trip there, Chris. Okay, so Rowan Marshall is the next one. Now, Marshall is 557K, so he's a great price. He averaged 110.3 in 2019 as a solo ruck, and in 2020, 17 games at a 103.7 average. He's forward ruck eligible, so everyone is really big on him. He's great in all formats. He averaged 113 the last 10 rounds. He averaged 91.1 though the first 7 rounds, highs of 117, 118, 119, 129, 143, 160. Has a big ceiling, Chris.
Yeah, he does, and obviously all role dependent. Like we'd all love for Patrick Ryder to, you know,
disappear.
I like, you know, looking at his games with and without Paddy Ryder.
I've got that here too, Chris.
Oh mate, look at that.
Tell you what, go.
So he actually averages 8.3. Actually, no, that's wrong. With or without. Hold on.
Okay, well, let's do a little recap, shall we? On 2019, he averaged 120 the last 12 rounds, including 6 scores of 120 or more.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
It actually says here that without Paddy Ryder, he actually averaged a lot less. He averaged 70.5. Am I reading that right? Surely I can't be reading that right.
You're on fan. So fan footy.
Oh,
you've got a 0 round 5. I wish fan footy would fix up the Carlton and Saints game because it does skew the data. So don't look at that, Chris.
There goes my awesome stat that I was going to pull out for no reason.
That's okay. Did I tell you that I actually saw Marshall once?
No.
I wanted to yell hello, but when I saw him, apparently it's rude to holler for a Marshall.
I don't get it. Holler for a Marshall?
It's a company, Chris.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, sorry. Your jokes are getting worse by the day.
Look.
Worse by the day.
I have little to work with.
It's the content. It's not me. It's the content.
It's the content. It's definitely not me. And you always know. For me, it's hit and miss anyway.
Look, so I like Marshall for what it does, and it's I think that regardless, he still averages close to 100. So he's going to be a top 10 forward at very least, and arguably a top 6. But he does allow that cover for that ruck line if you get a 1 week injury or a concussion or something like that.
Yep. The only downside or the risky side for any of these Saints players, particularly in standard, is the Saints have been given, based on champion data, the hardest draw for 2021.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
they've come out saying, well, hang on, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So we're going to take that on, which could work in their favour.
Of course they're going to say that. Why?
Of course.
What else are they going to say?
I know,
oh, no,
yeah.
we really hate it.
Yeah, fuck you, Gil.
Yeah, exactly right. They can't say anything else. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that could work in their favour, knowing that they have to prepare and do as best as they can and do everything, train with the intent. It could work out well for them. But, yeah, having the hardest draw isn't great for Supercoach, which, again, is a reason why you'd probably be better off waiting on a steal. Marshall, again, ruck, though, doesn't really impact him as much when he gets those minutes. If Ryder comes out and smashes out a whole percentage of the preseason and talks come out to say that, Ryder's going to be taking the main part of the ruck, then I'd be a bit more concerned.
But Marshall still scores well as a forward. And
but he loses half the appeal, though.
Maybe.
Although
I'll still run him.
Maybe Ryder will go down like he always does. 13
That's
games.
also
Ryder only played 13 games this year, so there you go.
Now, I'm going to list some guys, and you tell me who you think plays more midfield time, all right? So wait until I list them all. And then
We're including the wing in this.
No, I'm talking, so inside.
Okay.
Inside.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify. Yep.
Hunter Clark, Jade Gresham, Jack Higgins. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, that's hard.
Yep.
So what, Gresham, Clark, and Higgins?
Yep.
I'd have to toss up between Clark. Oh, no, Clark is out for me. I think he's too good from the defensive line. He could wait a little longer.
I agree. I think that they lack what he has in defense.
Correct.
And there's no one else to cover him.
And they have a lot of those forward options that can actually do that similar role, so they wouldn't miss them too much. Now, for me, I would probably prefer Higgins, but at this point it would have to be Gresh. I think Gresh overtakes Higgins based on needs, and I think he's done it for a little more and he's earned his time. And I think Higgins is probably, you're looking at maybe another, bides his time a little more and then get some of those glimpses.
Yeah, again, the same reason that I'd say that they would want a little bit more out of Gresh is because he adds something to that midfield that they don't have, that dynamic X factor. That the rest of their mids are generally, one pace, tackle well, accumulate the ball, but they don't really have that X factor. And like Jade Gresham's a sort that can kill you in a heartbeat, and I really, really like him on the ball, but they do need him up forward too. So
yeah, I like Billings for that effect in small glimpses too.
Yeah, absolutely, yep. But I think he'll hover. I don't think Billings is going to increase his mid time.
I think he'll be around the ball when it's in play, but from a center bounce, I don't think he will be.
Yeah, CBAs he won't be high. No.
Nope.
And then look, I think Higgins wants that midfield time, and he's been training with the midfield group. But I don't know if he's going to get it as much as he thinks he is.
Yeah, you have to train there because he'll probably get stints, or if there's injury, he might have to be jumping in. So,
but I mean, he would have gone there because they said, "Yeah, we'll play you midfield." Like otherwise, why would you leave?
He probably gets more rotations through there than
that's true.
Richmond. So maybe he's over winning premierships.
I just don't even like winning anymore.
It's just not fun. So Billings is only a midfielder, which it hurts a little bit. They do have quite reliable players though. So when we look, so Billings 82 out of 83 the last 4 seasons. He averaged 110.4 the first 5 rounds of this year, then averaged 90 from the last 12 rounds. And in that last 12, he only turned up twice. That kind of is painful there. Again,
just wing, man, like a classic. It's a classic wing role.
Classic wing role, and so we'll go on to Zach Jones, another one who could be impacted with Crouch coming in, depending on, again, inside, outside, who gets, first dibs or who gets, the next best sort of role. It'll be interesting to see. Jones actually had a really good year, so 92.1 average, 600s, including a 123, 123, 127, injured on 45, injured on 59, where he missed the following week, so it wasn't highly publicised, but he wasn't quite right. So there's probably a little value there if you think it's there. I'm not picking him over 92.
No way. No way. No.
High 80s, I'd go. Would you go high 80s for Jones as like a bench or last mid option maybe if you're desperate?
But the problem with Jones is that he's just dropped down the pecking order another one. And like he was having some really good stints and runs on the ball, but yeah, if Hannes is healthy and Crouch is in there, I can't see him getting those mid-rotation. I like Jones because of what he adds around the ground. So he's actually really good behind the ball. He can play forward and he can play midfield. So on the bench or off the bench, he's really valuable to the team.
Yep, depending on what they need at,
Exactly.
at different times.
He can go forward, back, mid, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's definitely behind Hannes and Crouch and Steele.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of mid-rotation. So
I agree.
I just can't see it.
Imagine being the best Jones in your family now. That seemed a bit sketchy a couple of years ago, but now we'd have to have the roost out of his brother and him, surely.
Yeah, but I mean, Nathan Jones is a champion of a football club. There's no way Jones is coming in to be a champion at St Kilda.
Yeah, that's true. Well, second rate from Sydney. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Talking of Brad Crouch just a little bit here. Obviously, averaged 98.4 in 2019, 83.5 in the year just gone. So I think there is value there. Now, the reason that we are a little skeptical is because he was quoted and they're talking about, he said, I think I will play forward at different times, maybe outside on the wing, and have even spoken a little bit about playing half back at times. I'm not totally sure, which is what he said about his time in the Saint midfield.
He doesn't even know. And I don't think it...
He doesn't even go here.
I think the coach obviously is trying to work through where their mix is at. They've got so many midfielders. Where they really lack is off the half back flank.
What does that tell you, though? It tells me that it is form-based. If you are in form, you get the best role. If you are out of form, you are out quick.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
It's the old Bevo symptom, just trade them in and out.
And they could. They've got that deep of a roster this year, so we'll have to see. I mean, look, Crouch is only 450K. Do I think he's anywhere near someone like a Prestia? No, because I don't even say Crouch can have 30 disposals and not ton. Like, I hate that. I can't. Yeah,
it's a dream team special if you want one. That's for sure. Yeah. Next one is Hunter Clark. So he is one who some people were massive on last year. Breakout contender, all of the above. He averaged 81.7. So it was a very inconsistent year. He had 500s, but also had some extreme lows: 38, 51, 55, 61. He is definitely one of my smokies in 2021 on a draft. You could get him pretty cheap. I think he has the scope to go anywhere from that sort of 81 mark, which he has averaged, and blow into the 90s.
So the only thing holding him back is roll at this point. The problem is I was really hoping this would be a season because I've got him in a keeper league.
Yep.
I was really hoping this would be the season that they'd unleash him in the midfield. And he gets stints in there and he's just impressive. He's class in that midfield. But they don't have what he offers behind the ball.
No, but he could get that friendly roll back there. And the funny thing for me, Chris, is you would think that a team with Clark and Kent would really perform better.
I do like a good Superman reference. Well done, sir. I'll give you that one. That's the first one you've had today that's gone well.
Thank you. I thought long and hard.
That's what she said.
Jade Gresham would have been the perfect player for draft leagues, etc. However, he's a midfielder only this year, which basically makes him... Yeah, it makes him...
completely irrelevant.
So 81.5 average. Now you're looking at possibly getting him as a bench player. But again, no versatility. You're looking at maybe even like Jaden Stevenson with the forward. Is he forward mid or just forward?
Yes, forward mid.
Okay, if he is forward mid. I think he's forward.
Just forward, yeah.
But I'd rather someone like that who at least gives you value. An 80 average midfielder gives you diddly squat.
Yeah, you can just pick him up on the waiver wire.
Yeah, he will. I think he'll be on someone's bench because he's talented enough. He has averaged 84.1 in 2019. He could average you stints of 90, so there is value in him being on your bench. But no one likes an 80 average mid.
No.
Because he could easily just play forward, which I think he will anyway.
The one thing I do like about him is that when he goes big, he can smack out a big score, Like, he's got it in him to go 120 plus on any given week. So
yep, there is some value if you think he's going to be dynamic and still get some mid rotations. He was injured in round 1. He did his PCL, I think, on 27. So his true average is closer to 87. So there is a little bit of value there. You can pick him up on your bench, and he could be quite serviceable if you get in some of those 10 or 12 leagues.
Yep, absolutely.
You can easily do that.
Moving on down to Dan Hanbury, pretty much, which is the next one.
Yeah,
I mean, look.
It's an interesting one. He's, what is he, like 338 or something like that?
I'll find out for you now, sir. Yeah, he's cheap. He's like 338, yeah.
Hey, what a guess. 338. Now,
You've been hot on him this You've been talking him up all preseason.
Not all preseason.
All
no.
preseason, you've been going on about Dan Hanbury is better than Heppel. That's what you've been going on about.
Well, Andy's better than Haitley, but again, that was body dependent. And then
exactly
the second it's kind of like you act all interested, and then the second you get a little scared off, you're like, no, fuck that guy.
Literally,
which is how it is at the moment.
He could go for a run, nick a calf. Oh, just on a Friday afternoon walking his dog, like, honestly.
And I don't trust them because what do you have, calf tightness? So they backed him off. Well, no wonder. He did a lot of running sessions in the off-season, and that's where the talk came from, because I think Billings is like, oh, he's flying. Look at him. He's fueled the jet.
Yeah.
Killed it did pretty well. He won the time trial, I think. So that's why he was flying. But maybe he did a load up too much, so then he had a little bit of a tightness or whatever concern, so then they backed him off. So I am still watching him. I think he still has, out of all those low 300k players, we're talking aside from Bruce, we're talking midfield only, he has the best scope to go 100.
Oh, absolutely, because of the role, right?
Yes.
And
prior scoring and scores
he's
more.
got history. The only thing he doesn't have is the body.
Correct. Points per minute. Awesome. Yep. If I had Hanbury in Haitley's body, fuck, I'd be laughing.
Yeah, right. Well, you got Heppel, who's obviously going to be playing off the halfback flank. You've got Haitley, who's been splitting time with Schoenberg forward mid, so both of those two guys aren't amazing. And then you got Hannes. Now, the good news is he's a little bit more expensive than both those guys, but not so much more expensive. So if he does foul, you've got those two backup options.
And if one of them fly, then you can definitely downgrade.
Or a round 3 special.
Or sideways.
Yeah, 100%.
Sideways.
So there is ways that you can get around it. I just don't like it because for it to be successful, what you're relying on is him playing till the buys. Now, they do have the last buy, which helps. But you need to get 13 straight games out of Daniel Hanbury.
Oh, not necessarily.
Mate.
Not if you're using him as a stepping stone. If he goes from 330 towards anywhere near 500, if he goes down after 8 rounds or something, then
but if he goes up quickly, it's because he's averaging well, and then why would you trade him?
Well, you wouldn't until he gets injured, and then you get rid of him. You don't. He doesn't have to last to the bye if he plays well.
Valid point. Point.
There's 2 ways to skin a cat.
I don't know. I'm just.
It's this
risky.
is the Higgins debate. Now, Higgins was injured all the time and no one picked him, and then all of a sudden Higgins comes out as a forward and averages mid-90s.
Yeah.
So then everyone's like, oh, Higgins, and he's been great since, and he had a lot of issues, and people forget that you look at his history, you look at his potential, and I'm taking on board the injury fact, but if he gets up and running and if he puts the good amount of work in, has a little setback, and I mean a little setback where they back him off, he still has a lot of running under his belt. So it's not like it's been previous years. If he does well from here, I'm definitely considering it. Any more injuries or any more side
he's
setbacks?
In consideration, I think for sure, but it's just it's so hard to be like I'm relying, because it's such an important position, that mid-price position at that place. Oh yeah,
yeah, but because he's the more expensive one, if he cracks off, people aren't going to have that money to go from a Haitley up.
No, yeah, well, that's
because
if
if Haitley stalls or even drops initially, staggers, and Hannes has one good game, all of a sudden, bang, he's like 350, 360, and you're now like, fuck, I need 60k and I don't have it.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't do it.
No,
you simply wouldn't. So there is merit in starting him over the other guys purely for the cash consideration.
And those guys you start because if they do well, you're laughing. If they're injured, you burn one trade. You're not bringing him in. No, he's not a 3-round special because you're not bringing in injury.
It could be if you've had a failed.
Yeah, but
let's say you could even do something like a Prestia down or a Cunnington down. You know what I mean? There is.
But again, the injury risk. Are you going to possibly burn 2 trades on someone who is injury prone?
I don't know. We're probably going to have 37 trades again this season anyway, right?
30 flat, mate. They're going to. Last year they were nice. This year I think they'll be real strict with it. So
who knows? Melbourne's currently in lockdown again.
Yeah, but they've learned their lesson. It'll be fine. They'll have their own everything planned already, and it'll be fine. Fingers
crossed we have a good season for AFL.
As far as AFL goes, yeah, fingers crossed. Otherwise, we're doing all this for nothing again.
Yeah, and I don't want that to happen.
No, we do not. Okay, so now who else are you looking at for draft relevancy? Obviously, Robertson is off mental health injury issues, taking time off. I don't think he will come back. Chris?
I don't think it was Robertson.
Yeah, mental health.
Wasn't it his
taking time off to contemplate his future? No.
Oh, okay, cool.
Body was before that.
Okay. Yeah, no, well, look, I didn't mind Ben Long at times because when he was moved behind the ball, he scored well. But I don't know. I wouldn't risk it. I think he's just a waiver wire guy that you can come in to give you some chop out. There really isn't much else, to be completely honest.
I was going to say, actually, a couple notes here. I've got Seb Ross. I was like, he needs to fire up. He needs to find Red Ross for any Friends fans out there. Next one, Butler. So Butler did go on an absolute heater to start the year. He was averaging huge numbers and then backed off. I think Butler actually has a little bit more competition now that you look at Higgins and that kind of thing coming in. So he needs to continue to perform, and Butler
He was just on a purple patch.
Well, Butler needs to keep serving it up on a platter in 2021.
Fair call. I agree with you.
Thank you. And the last one this is my draft sleeper of, I'd like to say 2021, but that's really limited because this is a far stretch. Now, Bradley Hill, right, averaged 84.2 in 2019. He averaged 65.9 this year. He was horrible in 2020. Now,
He was.
For whatever reason, God knows, maybe it was the shorter quarters, the shorter games. You know, he's
Couldn't
someone
burn
that
people as much.
he's someone that thrives on working his opponent off. Now, you think about this year, right? Longer quarters back to how they should be. Less rotations, right? Hill has every opportunity to absolutely dominate this year.
That's true. And when you say dominate, you mean average 85 or?
Oh, I mean, average he could go 90 plus, Chris.
Yeah.
In a deep
in
a deep
draft.
league draft, yeah,
Draft,
of course, draft.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
In
Wow,
a deep
scared
draft,
me a little bit there.
No,
I was
no.
like, no way. There's someone I'm not banking on. No way.
deep draft leagues or anything like that, I do not mind him being on your bench. Or if you're in like a real deep one of 18, you could possibly put him as your last mid. I think there's a lot of value there. He is definitely a draft sleeper.
I like it.
No one's going to look at him.
I like it. I think that's good.
Yeah, and that wraps us up, Chris.
It does.
Nice and easy. You haven't even said in a nutshell, Chris.
Oh, well, this was in a nutshell. I don't know.
No, this is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell. How did I get into this nutshell?
Oh, well done, sir. You were literally waiting for the
I
whole
had it-
podcast just for that.
I had it waiting, and this is our last one for the session, so I'm doing it anyway.
All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you later. Hopefully by this time next week, you'll be a daddy. So that'd be nice. Good luck with that.
Yeah, so there might be a little delay depending on, I think we have 3 episodes to go of this one, so we'll keep you posted, and hopefully by that stage too, we'll hit up SC Elites and try and work out when this top 10 is going to happen, probably just at the end of the, what is it, JLT? What is it now?
Yeah, I want to see that one game.
What's it now?
Amy series?
Amy series, right.
Yep, so that's over the weekend, March 5th.
Yep, we'll do it then. Also, the draft spreadsheet now is basically nearly to the completion. I think I've got one team to go. So if you are having a draft coming up soon and you would like our stats on that, please do contact us and let us know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. All right, wrapping it up. Thank you guys. Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.